he would go to there and just like video record himself in front of it talking about the building. He had nothing to do with anything in the deal other than just being in the same city.
Hey Rob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a busy week. As I told you like very briefly, I'm still getting started as a newer connector. And so like there is a lot of stuff for me to learn right now. So I'm just like drinking from the fire hose, man. It's all good.
Awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to talking.
Yeah, so for the folks who are listening, um you know, there's maybe to give some background on why we're having this discussion today. So, you and I are both part of this new initiative in PACE's Sub 2 and Gator Method communities called Project Forward. And
Yep. Yep.
that's essentially how we kind of met. And I've kind of seen you around the community, but part of Project Forward is intended to push us out of our comfort zone a little bit and start producing some content so people kind of get to know who we are and how they can do business with us. So, um,
Yeah, I think Project Forward, the goal of Project Forward, the way I see it is to get people a little bit out of their comfort zones who maybe haven't done any type of public facing product like, social media or YouTube or anything like that. And maybe a little bit of helping them realize how really not intimidating it is. I think people overhype things. That whole celebrity thing, um, it is a big factor, but it's really not that big of a deal. We're just two guys on a web chat. Like it's totally doable, and anyone can do it.
yeah, yeah. For me, I've never attempted something like it because I just didn't feel like super comfortable getting in front of people. Like I know people are going to be watching this, and so I'm like, it's easy to overthink it. But I
Yeah,
had my
yeah. But right now it's just me and you,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
don't
this is
overthink it.
yeah, this is great. I actually did my first one with my battle buddy a couple days ago, and we both just had such a blast with it, man, that like we're ready to do another one. I think on the next one we'll probably do a deep dive into like remote property management.
Hmm.
So that'll be super interesting because he's got some experience doing that. He's in California and he's managing some properties over in Georgia. So
No, that's cool.
yeah, it's like, oh, man, how did you do that? But anyways, so maybe we can give some brief intros or backgrounds on who we are. Rob, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So if we're talking about real estate stuff specifically,
Hmm.
I kind of do a few different things. I have my hand in a few different things. I run a transaction coordination service. It's a business. I have a few transaction coordinators who are on our team who are working on building out this side of the business. And what we do there is basically the way I like to say it is from contract to close.
Mm,
So if you're a wholesaler or a real estate agent or an investor doing real estate deals pretty routinely, commonly, oftenly, what you do is it's your job to negotiate. It's your job to get that property under contract. But those types of people who are doing a lot of uh, deals, maybe a certain amount of volume, they typically have that personality where I would rather talk to people. I would rather go out and hunt and get those deals. But when it comes down to paperwork, I don't know what to do with the paperwork, or I'm
mm,
not interested in that sort of thing. I'd love to
yep.
pass that off. Well, that's exactly what the service is that we offer. Pass it off to us, and we'll handle it from there until closing, right? And we even offer post closing services, and there's lots of details that we can go into doing all of that. A great bolt-on service, and actually what I first started with was our funding side. So I
Mm,
come out of Gator, where basically what I like to say is I connect capital to deals. So I'm doing some connector work there, right? I have basically two parties there. One party is the people who come to me and say, I have a deal, I need funding for X and Y to do it. And then I have the other group of people who we call them private money lenders who come to me and say, I have all this capital and I want to get into real estate and I don't know how to do it.
Mm,
Can you deploy my capital for me? And so it's just a simple connection. You have capital, how much do you have? You need capital, how much do you need? And I just make that connection. And so that TC and funding, those two businesses really marry well because often what happens is neither one of those parties like the paperwork and are unsure of the paperwork. So it's easy for them to hand it off and we sort of take it from there. So that whole thing is what we call Tusk, like an elephant tusk.
mhm.
It's Tusk TC, Tusk funds. Those are married together. You can have one or the other. You don't necessarily need to take advantage of both services, but we do offer both of those services to our clients. Now, my main and primary business, if we can call it that in real estate, is assisted living and senior care. So I grew up doing assisted living and senior care. I come out of a family that's done assisted living and senior care. I've been in that community for 30 years or so. I married a nice little nurse. We met in high school in French class, went to college together, got married. I did business. She's a nurse. Her family is also in senior care. So it something we both grew up doing. We're both familiar with it. And you get to the point where parents are retiring, and of course you got to step in and take over the family business. So that's what
Mm,
I'm doing with that.
that's awesome.
Currently, yeah. So currently, what we're doing with that is we're putting together I'm building a team. We're putting together a fund for the purpose of acquiring assisted living, getting into senior care at a much greater level, um, where we've got there's a lot of opportunity in senior living. And so right now, what we're doing is we're working toward finalizing our fund and starting to reach out to investors. And our primary market of investors is our physicians, and more specifically surgeons, because uh, I've been in and around surgery and the medical field, and particularly orthopedics.
Mm,
I've worked orthopedics surgery for a long time. I'm just familiar with those people, and I'm always hearing that same thing, like, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, I make great money, I'm not really sure how to build generational wealth with that. I would love to get into real estate, I don't know how to do that exactly. um, and what typically happens is they're not really sure about all those different avenues, right? Because there's so many different pathways you can follow in real estate. And what's nice is that I can come along and say, hey, the medical field and you want to get into real estate. Well, here's what I'm doing. I'm offering investments in real estate that are also medical businesses, right? Because you can't divorce assisted living and senior care away from the underlying real estate. Those are
mm,
part and parcel, right? And so it's easier to understand that, oh, I see that this is senior care, which has, by all projections, has a, a curve going up. Like it's high demand. It's going to be for the foreseeable future. Plus, it's backed by real estate. And that is a great investment vehicle for people who generally are higher net worth, right? The doctors who we're working on being our clients, to be able to invest in those kinds of deals is just a no brainer for them. Like they love it.
wow, that is
So that's
awesome,
what we
dude.
do. Yep.
That's neat. And I didn't know that you had a TC company too. Like all that makes sense. Like the way you're describing everything, it sounds like you're just kind of stacking. You're stacking value, stacking value, stacking value, and it all just kind of interplays with each other.
I mean, that's the goal. We want to not only can we run your whole transaction, but if you need funding for that transaction, we're there for you. So that whole thing from contract to close, we want to be able to handle it all.
Mm,
Whatever happens in that space, whether it's I need funding to get this under contract and get it done, whether it's, setting up uh servicing companies or whatever it is. Obviously, we're not only limited contractor calls; we can play outside of those boundaries a little bit, but we're here to offer the full stack, like you said, of services to be able to
Mm,
help investors and agents and uh, wholesalers, all these people who are doing deals and need to get moving, right? Because at a certain point, you want to get more than just one at a time a month. Let's say,
mhm.
So what do you do if you're pumping out, 3 to 4 deals a month and you're wanting to shoot for that next step, which is, maybe 8 deals a month, 10 deals a month? Well, now you're starting to run into some real barrier issues, and passing that off to a specialist, that transaction coordination work can really help to elevate a business.
That's neat, man. I love it. Um, Man, that is so cool. Like, what gave you the inspiration to do that in the first place? Like, when did you realize that you could provide so much value by commingling all these things together?
Yeah, so I originally started in sub 2, and when I joined sub 2, Gator was just starting out.
Mhm.
And so I was like, this is really interesting. I really like uh and let me preface that by saying prior to joining sub 2, so this was like June, July of 2022. Um so just over a year ago, here we are, August 2023. I Before joining sub 2 and Gator, I was doing my own lending to friends and family for various real estate deals that they were doing, rehab funding, that sort of stuff. And so once I joined sub 2 and the Gator thing opened up, I was like, oh, I'm kind of doing this anyway. Let me jump in here and see if I can learn and maybe grow my business doing that. And so I started doing Gator. And for those who don't know, Gator, the way Gator is now, up until this point, is strictly earnest money deposits and double closings, right? That's what a Gator will fund. The way Pace Morby has taught it so far, right?
Right.
So I was doing Gator lending. I was getting in and out of deals, and every time, you only got so much funds, right? Like,
Right.
no one has all the funds, and so I was getting to the point where I had a lot of deal flow coming in, and not enough capital to do all those deals. And so what I was doing was I was reaching out to other Gators, asking them, "Hey, would you put your if I bring the deal, can you help me? Can you Let's pool funds, let's wrestle is what we call it.
Right.
Some deals together, some capital together so we can do maybe more deals or bigger deals." Um, and what was happening after a while was I was having to reach out to people who were not in the Gator community to get more capital, because sometimes you're getting bigger deals, and as the Gator community was starting, not there wasn't necessarily a lot of capital available. And when you're reaching out to these various people who call themselves private money lenders, they probably have never done a deal before.
Mm,
They have capital, but they've never done a deal before. And so I'll bring a deal to them and ask them to put their money into this deal and fund it so we can do it. And they'd be like, "Sure. Can you also, run the transaction? Can you coordinate the transaction?" And I'd say, "No, but I have TCs who are in the community who I can refer to, who are in sub 2."
mm.
And you only do that so many times before you realize, hey, this is another bolt-on service that I can be
Yeah.
making money off of too, instead of referring out. And so it was just a simple, yes, I can do TC work too. I'll TC the deal. And that did two things. It brought more revenue into the business. Um, Sometimes because um, the TC fees were more than I was actually getting on the connection fee, right? Because what I'm basically doing in those deals is I'm the connector
Right.
and taking a finder's fee for it, or whatever percentage, or it just depends. And so it increased revenue, number one. And number two is it gave the private money lenders a much greater sense of confidence that, oh, Rob is bringing the deal and he's running the transaction. I'm not going
Mm,
to worry about it. Right. So that was a great thing that happened out of it. One of the negative things that happened out of it, not negative, but one of the things I need to be aware of is what I just said. Oh, Rob brought the transaction. It must be good. I should put my money in it. And Rob is human, and Rob makes mistakes.
What? You're
And
human? You're not a
yeah,
robot?
and so I have to be very careful now because I need to vet my deals better. I need to underwrite them
Right.
better, and that takes a little bit longer of a process. And so right now, where I'm at in the business, we have 3 TCs, and um, I'm bringing on an underwriter to underwrite deals as they come in. My goal is to turn that around in like 24 to 48 hours. But
Mhm.
at this point, I'm not because of the volume. Like I have a certain amount of volume, and there's just no way I can underwrite deals and oversee operations. So the first thing I did, once you get to a certain volume, and then what happens is you're dropping plates left and right. You got too many spinning plates, and that was absolutely something that was going on for
Mhm.
me because I am not the systems guy. I am not the person to set up all, SOPs and all this stuff. I'm just not that good. Uh, I need to learn. I need to grow in that area of my, leadership. Um, and so I brought in a partner who is also in sub two. I'm in Texas. She's in North Carolina, but she's a tried and true leader, a tried and true integrator who can do systems and business operations. And I needed that. I need
Mhm.
that stuff. So I brought in a partner, and that's resulted in um, an exponential increase in the amount of leads that we can handle.
Love it.
Um, are we handling it all? No, because we still need more key players. Like we have to build a team in order to make it happen.
Yeah. But that's a really great place to be, man. Like you'd rather have more business than not enough, you know? Uh I know it
Right,
probably
right.
stinks to not be able to get to it all, but like that's great. Like that shows that there's lots of room to grow too.
Yes, exactly. It's great. We have plenty of leads coming in. We have awesome relationships with private money lenders, and we can always take on more leads and more deals. But
Mhm.
from a business owner point of view, it's like, man, I wish we were able to offer a much cleaner, more streamlined service than what we're
Mm.
offering now. And that incremental improvement is what we're after. Like we want to get better and better in order to offer like the best service possible.
Gotcha. Gotcha, man. Well, I'd love to come back and ask you some more questions about all this stuff in a minute, but I realize that I also haven't really given you much background on me. So
Yeah, tell me about yourself.
let me tell you a little bit about who I am. So, um, for the folks listening, hi, I'm Kyle Kurzhal. Uh, by trade, I'm actually a software engineer. So I've been a software engineer for the last like decade now, and I actually started my career out working in the intellectual property space. So
Interesting.
yeah, I joined a startup back in the day that really focused on doing like searches around trademarks.
Hmm.
And that was really interesting because I got to help build those systems from the ground up. And doing that really efficiently is a bit of a challenge for sure. It's not like, because you're pulling data from like over 50 different sources, right?
Hmm.
And so you can't just do it one by one because it'll take hours to aggregate all that information into something that's actually usable. And so, part of that learning curve for me was learning how to do like everything in parallel and
Yeah.
setting up the system so that way like it all aggregates into one nice little report for you at the end so that way then you can make an evaluation on, yeah, we should move forward with this trademark, or oh no, somebody else is using this, or even for cases where like somebody maybe is infringing on your trademark. So I got to learn a little bit about the IP space too along the way, which was kind of cool.
Interesting.
And the last I'd say 3 years, I've been working in this company that is really in the HR like payroll type space. I'm working on a team that is dedicated to doing like employee surveys. So
Mm.
that's been a little different. I got to bring over some skills into that new role. But it is just a world of difference from like IP stuff. So
Yeah.
that's like what I've done traditionally as my background. Um, but within the last 2 months, um, well, even I guess a little bit before that, I was really kind of interested in like starting a business. And so, for a while I was trying to learn about business and figure out what it is that I could do. And then I came across some stuff that said, hey, why don't you consider like the Cody Sanchez, her
Hmm.
stuff, about acquiring businesses. And I was like,
Sure.
oh, that's super interesting. That's a great way to get in and then start cash flowing right out of the gate, right? And my skills as a software engineer can be really useful for something like that because you can take something that's old and outdated that maybe needs like updates to their processes, things like that to help scale the business. And so it's like, okay, I get the process stuff, so let's learn a little bit more about this. And as I was like starting to look into businesses to actually purchase, I ran into the funding problem.
Hmm.
And a lot of these businesses that you look at are like, particularly like in the digital space, they
Hmm.
don't have any traditional collateral, you
Right.
know? So it's like,
Right.
I can't go get a standard bank loan because they're not going to loan against anything. There's nothing there to loan against. And I don't
Right.
have, a bunch of properties that I can use as collateral or anything like that. So, um, around that time, so this is about 2 months ago as I was starting to investigate it, I came across Pace's stuff online, and I initially came across Gator. I think it is
Hmm.
what it was, and the stuff in Gator I was like, what, you can do that? Like that is incredible. Like there's so many opportunities. And then I saw this sub two stuff. Like I saw a video where he talked about different like entry and exit strategies. I
Hmm.
was like, this is this is different. Like I've never heard anything like that because the stuff I'd heard in the past was all from like bigger pockets, like you do a burr, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't think this is going to work for me. And so, I just kind of discounted like the real estate space. And, uh, and then when I saw Pace's stuff, I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of opportunity here. And there's like some good, applicable principles, um, not just for real estate, but also for like businesses. And
Totally.
so, that's how I got introduced to the sub two community in Gator. And so I jumped in and I did both at the same time, like a crazy man, because I'm a little crazy, I guess. And
Yeah. Yeah.
just started like consuming from the fire hose. And I'm now kind of finding this nice little niche as a funding connector, kind of like what you've been doing, right? And given that I don't have a ton of capital to start with, I figured that was a good spot for me to plug into and start to build connections because my long-term vision is to do, business acquisitions, to do some real estate acquisitions, but to do all that
Sure.
you need capital and you need connections.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at and hopefully where I'm headed. Um, but
No, that's
hopefully that gives
awesome.
you a good background on who I am and you know, maybe
Yes.
it gives
So
us some things to talk about too.
sure. You've been in sub two for 2 months now,
Yes, sir.
both sub two and Gator.
Yes.
Um, yeah, when I don't tell people it's like drinking from a fire hose. I tell people it's like you were dropped in the middle of the Atlantic and now you have to swim back. Yeah.
Fair
Like
enough.
there's a lot of information and
Yes.
there isn't one avenue of real estate that I could think of that isn't something in sub two community, right?
Mm,
Whether it's a Discord channel or a whole tutorial or, many videos unpacking the whole thing. There's a lot of great, great, great content in Sub 2 and it's a fantastic community.
definitely.
Is it perfect? No, but it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. When I first joined Sub 2, I was doing Gator and all that, but I also plugged myself into the Elephant Challenge and into various things, primarily in that connector role, just kind of getting to meet people, putting my name out there, taking as many phone calls and Zoom meetings as I possibly could, and then connecting as many people who needed help with one thing or another with others. And it was a great way to get to know people, and a great way to get your name out there. So, it's all about relationships.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so uh, have you explored other things within the real estate world, sub two world beside the Gator connecting model?
A little bit. At first, I was like, okay, you know what? I would love to be a closer on some of these things because I understood everything, and I was like, okay, like I can go have a conversation with folks and break it down. Like that's not a problem. Um, but I came to realize like you can't just kind of be a closer on your own unless like if you're trying to acquire real estate, you need to have like money for holding costs. And so I was like, "Oh, I'm not at that point yet where I'm able to cover the holding costs to my exit strategy. So, I'm gonna have to find something in the interim to build up that capital and then also the connections like I mentioned before, right? Um, so there's a lot that goes into the whole process from start to finish. And I just kind of realized that I need a little bit of time to get there. Um,
Oh yeah.
and so, given that I liked the Gator stuff, I was intending to use the Gator method to help build capital as an initial starting point. Um, I decided to just kind of double down on that. And
No, that's
so
great. That's
because of my
good.
W-2 too, like it's a lot more flexible. Like I can't like do anything that would require huge amounts of time out of my day while I have to do my standard W-2. So it
Oh,
just
that's
ended up
totally
being a good fit.
understandable. Yeah, it's totally understandable. If you have a W-2, it takes up a major portion of your day, and you can only do so much outside of those hours, right?
Mhm,
Um, and that's one of the problems that part of it was on purpose. Like I wanted to get into a whole bunch of different things and play
mhm,
around and see what I was good at because, like you said, there was things in real estate that I was never exposed to,
mhm,
especially in the whole creative world. Um, and so I wanted to get into a whole bunch of different things. Um, but I'm really good at getting into too many things. And what happens is, like usual, you're in too much. There's too many spinning plates. You're not effective at anything. And there's not really anything to show in terms of you know track record or
right.
deals closed or anything like that. And so in the last 6 months, I've sort of been unwinding my the various pots that I've been cooking in order to really focus back in. It took me a year to come back to where I first started, which was, I'm really good at the senior living space.
Mm,
I have lots of experience, and it just happened that I found some great people. I brought my partner in, Lynn, who is amazing. And there's another couple of people in sub two who I'm in talks with, and we're talking about, we're putting together a fund. We're working on really doubling down in the senior living space.
mhm,
It's what we know. And why not do something you're really great at now that you also have all this extra sub two knowledge and all this creative financing and all this, access to capital and access to people who can do all sorts of stuff within deals and for deals. So I spent a year learning a whole bunch of really cool stuff, failing a
mhm,
lot, which is also part of the process. Like, just be okay with failing and learning and figuring out. Like, I figured out I'm not that great of a leader and I need to improve on certain things.
mhm.
And I figured out I'm really good at chasing squirrels and shiny objects, and I need to stop doing that and just focus,
Yeah.
and get rid of things that are time wasters, get rid of things that are distractions. You know, the problem we face, I think, in sub two is that there's so many good options.
Oh, there are so many, man.
There's so many good options to make a heck of a lot of money. Um, the key is which one is the right one for you.
Mhm.
And then just pick a lane, right? Just pick a lane and run with it for 6 months, for a year, and you'll do fantastic. I did not take my own advice, so this is totally do what I say and not what I do thing. Because I wanted to learn all these things and play around and figure out, and I did, but now I'm at the season and time where I'm focusing, I'm narrowing down, I'm picking my
Mm,
niche and getting as good as I can in it. But even now, like you see, I have like 2 or 3 niches that I'm working on.
yeah. Well, I think and that's exactly where I'm at, right? Like, I started out exactly what you were saying, trying to do all these things and learning all these things. And I think it's really helpful to have like a baseline knowledge and understanding of all the different tools that you could put in your tool belt, so to speak.
Mhm,
Um, but like you're saying, when you're starting, you got to start small. And the thing I realized was, okay, like what I need to do is I need to find something that I can focus on that I see a need for. Particularly, the thing I was seeing a need for was in the community. I'm seeing investors needing funding, and I'm seeing a need to be able to bridge the gap between the Gators and Sub Two. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a great place for me to start as a newbie, and I can then build out additional connections on each side, right? Like I can go build a network of private money lenders. I can go build another network of investors, maybe outside of the Sub Two and Gator communities, and then grow from there. And then, as I get more experience under my belt, then I can start adding additional things to my plate. Because otherwise, I'm doing too many things at the same time. Exactly what you were saying. Like, you're not
mhm,
effective. Um,
exactly.
so yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And I'll be taking that advice for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get a little specific.
Yeah.
How are you reaching out and adding private money lenders to your Rolodex?
Yeah. So right now it's been strict because I'm so new. Again, I've been focused on mostly the Gator community because there's so many people in there, and there's a range of people. I do tend to find that the majority of them do shorter term loans, but there's a few folks in there who do the private money lending. So I'm just like, when I come across a deal that I think makes sense, something that seems reasonably possible, then I take that and I just start reaching out to people in Gator first. Um, and at each time I do that, I'm building up that list. I actually need to go through and clean it up a little bit because it's kind of messy. So I can make that a lot more efficient. But that's my starting point. And from there, um, I'm intending to go forward and start to seek people outside of the Gator community. And so that's
Mhm,
that's part of why I love this Project Forward stuff, is because it's pushing me to put some content out so people know that I'm doing business this way, and that they can leverage me to make some money, and then everybody wins. So that's
yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at and where I'm headed. Like, it's just I'm at the start of the tunnel. So, like,
right.
there's a lot of stuff that I still have to go through to get to the point where I think I'm doing a lot of consistent business.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same place. I'm constantly talking to private money lenders. I constantly have
Mhm.
people reaching out. Of I do a lot outside of the Gator community, mostly because, and it's probably, incorrect thinking on my end, but if I have a deal that needs a Gator, there's like 4,000 Gators. I could just call anyone and
That's
get
right.
the deal done, right? But the truth of the matter is, while I do a certain amount of, and when we talk about gated, I'm being as strict with that definition as possible. Like we're talking about earnest money and double closings.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the earnest money deals and a lot of the, well, the earnest money deals, I typically handle those on my own. Like I'm self-funding
Mhm.
those. I'm running the trans. I'm doing all that. So I'm doing it myself. One man stop. When it's a double close, I'm usually connecting for that, and taking it's basically arbitrage, right? I'm
Right.
borrowing the money at, let's say, 1%. I'm loaning it out at 2%, and I'm arbitraging for that extra 1% return. Usually those are pretty, more and more, they're pretty safe and common types of transactions as more and more title companies get used to them. But a significant portion of my business is private money lending,
Mhm.
connecting that with, the stuff that's past escrow. And I like doing it because there's great returns, right? Now, most of what I do is not most. Practically everything I do is definitely within a year, but usually less than 6 months. I'm doing a lot of 3, 4 month type stuff, rehabs, that sort of thing, right?
Right.
Entry fees. Because we're exposed to sub two, a lot of people are running creative deals. And so they'll need like an entry fee on a low equity, no equity type deal, or something they're gonna wrap and they're gonna pay out within, 3 or 4 months, that sort of thing. So I'm doing a lot of those kinds of deals. Um, but I like those because they have a security instrument attached,
Right.
right? There's a lien position there that is ma- it's not necessarily like 100% safe necessarily, but there is that peace of mind there, right, for the lender. Now, where I was trying to go with all of this, where I started from was, while I'm reaching out to lots of private money lenders, what I'm not doing such a good job of right now in my business is following up with them, right?
Oh.
Nurturing, like, hey, how's it going? How are you liking the deals I'm sending? What can I improve in my systems from your point of view as a private money lender? What do you want to see from me more? How often do you want me to reach out and ask how your kids are doing? Like, I need to get better at that, because not only are you trying to bring in deals, you gotta make sure you're able to fund those deals, or else people are
Mm.
not gonna come to you to fund anymore. So you have to have that stack of cash ready to be deployable pretty quickly, right? Like my goal is to get it in 48 hours. My
Mm.
goal. I'm not I'm not there yet. We're working towards that, right? So if someone comes and says, "Hey, can you fund a 100K deal on a rehab?" Yes, the answer is always yes, and then you're scrambling to try to find a private money lender for it, right?
Mm.
So I gotta get better at nurturing those relationships and being aware of the cash that's here and ready to go. I'm not doing such a good job. I'm getting better at that. My partner's helping me with all that. Um, but reaching out to private money lenders is important.
Mm.
Like, you should be doing that. Like, that should be an ongoing campaign. You should send these kinds of things to your private money lenders in a monthly campaign, right? Are you using a CRM?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I recommend Unapologetic Results, which
Okay.
is it's a CRM based off of Go High Level. My good friend Dustin, he runs it. Um, uh, It's fantastic for, nurturing relationships. It's a
Mm.
fantastic CRM for that, because you can automate follow-up, you can automate marketing, you can automate all those things that we need, in order to make it better, to nurture those relationships.
Gotcha. How long have you been using that? Are you seeing, I mean, obviously you like it since you're using it today.
Yeah. So, um, I've been using it for about a year.
Mhm.
About a year. I started with REI Reply. Dustin put because it's a white label version of Go High Level. Dustin put out his own with a few improvements that I really like. And plus, Dustin is not as big as REI Reply, which I think is a good thing. And that, it's that lean thing that I can, hey, Dustin, I need help with this. Can you help me out?
Right.
Oh, sure. And he has his VAs or whatever reach out to me and help me out. So it's been great when I've been running into issues and can't figure out how to make a form work or whatever. Because again, I'm not that system software engineer like my
Right.
friend here. And so it's like, bro, I don't know how to do this. Like, what button do I press in order to make this work? And so he's been really great about that. So plug for unapologetic results. Um, but yeah, reaching out to PMLs
Mm,
is important. It's just as important as deal flow, right? Because if the
yeah,
deals come
makes
in and you
sense.
can't fund them, then you don't have a business yet.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense. When I think generally of business, this is a newer realization that I had recently, and smarter people than me probably figured it out a long time ago. But, when I'm looking at a business, I'm thinking, okay, a business is just a big machine, so to speak. Like, um, it has a set of functions and processes. It's got like a pipeline, for leads, for example, that come in. It's got pipelines and functions for getting resources. So in this case, like a private money lender, right? And it's always got to be aggregating those resources and having those ready to go.
Yeah,
If you're talking about hiring employees, it's similar, right? Like, got to have a set of functions and processes that go get those employees as resources to help your business function on a day-to-day basis. So that totally makes sense to me. Like, it just, it's a necessity for sure. And I guess one of the questions that I have, just personally as a newer connector, and maybe for the folks who are listening who are also interested in becoming a connector, how did you go about starting that process? Like, where did you start to look to make those connections with private money lenders? Because that seems to be a bit of a challenge. Like, I hear one thing I hear, from Pace is like start reaching out to just people that you immediately know. But what about cases where the people are not in the position to be able to be private money lenders? Like, what did you do? I guess maybe I'll leave it there and just listen.
So when I first joined Sub 2, Pace, he puts on a whole bunch of Zooms and family night Zooms and all these things. And Pace has always preached about get out there into the community, let people know what you're doing, reach out, make connections. And so I literally took him at his word, like,
Mm,
okay, I'm gonna do that. And so I would post my Calendly link. I would reach out to people and comment on their stuff. Whenever a new person came in, I would welcome to the community, reach out if we need to talk about anything. I'm doing deals. Okay. That's one of the facets, like that constant um massaging of the algorithm because you're interacting with the community
mhm,
is a thing. Like it's a thing. It's a legit thing. The other thing you're doing is you're also putting out content. So I was putting out lousy content about, hey, I have a deal. I don't know how to do this. Can someone help me? Hey, I'm going to start making calls to attorneys. Like just all this different content that didn't have any rhyme or reason, but it doesn't have to, right? The algorithms in Facebook and Instagram don't care. They just want a certain amount of things, right? At least that's how I see it. I mean, they probably care about how you're packaging it and all that sort of stuff. But
sure.
I'm not sophisticated enough to know what those algorithms do, right? Like that's not my full time job. So I don't know. But putting the content out there only helps,
Mm,
right? And so uh my primary way of driving and increasing my visibility was by using Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Um Now, and the major player being Facebook, because that's where the majority of interactions happen within the Sub 2 community. And also Discord, right?
mm,
There's
right.
the Sub 2 Discord channel, and I've been doing a lot of outreach and stuff on the Discord channel. The other thing I did was I took on uh, roles of helping the community that were very public facing, right? So I took on being a leader in the Elephant Challenge. When I think I joined the first elephant challenge or the second elephant challenge, something like that. Like it was pretty early on when we started doing elephant challenge. I raised my hand. I was new to the community, literally knew nothing, and I raised my hand like, "Hey, I'm really good at corralling people. Like I'm really good at growing teams and getting people together and hurrah, let's hype and do stuff."
Mm,
Um, my elephant challenge group grew to like 1,200 people at one point.
Phew.
Like it was big, right? So I'm really good at getting out there and building teams and being visible. Um, so that only helped, right? If you're doing something very visible and we're all in this together as a community, providing value to new people, um, it helps,
Mm,
right? It gets you visible, and um, you know, of course, Pace did a lot to boost me and to call me out and hey, thanks for helping in front of a whole bunch of people, which also helped a lot,
mm,
right? So it's one of those things where, you know, Pace said, like, if you're doing things to help the community, it's visible and I see it. And I was like, okay, let's see how accurate that is. And so I tested it, right? So I pushed myself out there. Um, Now, because I'm not that system and process oriented person, when you're dealing with a group of 1,200 people and you don't have systems and processes, things get crazy really quick.
right. Yeah.
And the biggest problem was that I I wasn't in the right headspace. I didn't know what I didn't know because I was
Mhm,
still pretty new. Um, and so a lot let's say I could have done it better, right? I could
mm,
have made that whole thing more profitable. I could have made it produce more results, but I was not that great of a leader and not well versed enough in order to be able to handle all of it, and know how to implement things that were needed in order to support the organization that I was a part of. And, um, you know, you get burned out
mhm.
and the whole world falls apart. Everything's on fire. And, it just the way it is. When you're the visionary person and you don't have great integrators around you to help you, yeah, it's not going to happen, right? It's
Yeah.
all I can build it really quick, right? I can build a 1,200 person organization really quick, but it's gonna fall apart because I was not capable of sustaining it. I'm learning. I'm getting better at that stuff.
Mm,
Um, and a big part of that is realizing how much I don't know, right? It's like,
yeah.
hey, every organization, every partnership that has failed that I've been the leader of, it's because I've been the leader of it, right? And I know I need to get better. I know I need to improve things. Like
Mm,
if there's a misunderstanding in the leadership team, because there was other people I brought in who were leaders, but not necessarily integrators. As the point lead, um, if something fails, it's my fault. Like I take responsibility. I take blame. I wasn't doing well enough. All the people I was partners with, like fantastic people, maybe we didn't see eye to eye on certain things, but that's 100% my fault for
mm,
lack of leadership, lack of communication, lack of know-how in order to sustain, it ongoingly sustain an organization of that size. So how do you get private money lenders is just get out there and let people know what you're doing, right?
mm.
Like
Get
post it. This is
visible.
what that's what Project Forward's about. Like,
Mm,
even if it's a tiny little deal, even if it's not a deal, it's like, hey, guys, I'm trying to raise capital for this deal. And then just talk about the deal, right? It doesn't have to be your deal. Like, hey, here's a deal that closed. Here's an example of a deal that's closed. If you're also looking for deals like this, let me know. I'd be happy to help. Uh,
mm.
so just use other people's credibility if you need to.
That's
Borrow
awesome.
credibility,
That's so
you
good,
know?
man. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so creative because, like, then you don't have to sit there and try to come up with something. It's already out there. It's in the ocean, so to speak, of all the different deals out there, and you can just pull one and put it out in front and say, "Hey, I'm looking at this. What do you think?" Like,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
There's a podcast called Real Business Owners. The guys own there's two guys, they own a CPA firm. And anyway, they were talking, they had a guest interview on, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's out of Utah. And the way she built his whole business is whenever there was a new construction building going up or something, he would go to there and just like video record himself in front of it talking about the building. He had nothing to do with anything in the deal other than just being in the same city. Hey,
Wow.
here's this construction company. here's what they're building. They're expecting it to, he would do a little bit of research beforehand. The project is costing $80 million. They're expecting
Sure.
it to finish in Q1 2024. This is going to add a great thing to our downtown. And all of a sudden, after doing that for a certain amount of time, 6 months to a year, he's the expert of the market. Everyone sees him as the expert because every new thing that's going on, he knows about, right? He had zero involvement in any of those deals,
Wow. That's
right?
great. I love
But
it.
he's the expert. And now people are coming to him and asking, "Hey, can you help me out with my deal? I want to do this. I want to do that." Sure, I can help. I'm the local expert,
Wow. That's a great
right?
example of like knowledge is power. Because part of that is also, that he gained experience by just observing. And then he was
Yeah,
able to just insert himself in the middle, like at a later point in time. That's really incredible.
right.
I'm gonna have to definitely rethink my strategy a little bit, and see if I can do some of that kind of stuff because I think on so many levels there's value, right? Like you're providing value to other folks who are interested in seeing that kind of stuff. You're personally learning about it, and then you're able to get in front of people and people know you to be doing those types of things. So that's that's a really neat insight, man. I'm going to see if I can apply that to how I'm doing business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great little thing. I mean, I learned about a lot from that too. And because sometimes when we're doing this stuff, you feel a little bit like um you don't have the credibility.
Mm,
You feel like you're faking it a little bit. Um, but there you can still provide value by informing others. I mean, that's what the news is,
mm,
right? Um, it's funny because he was doing like when the new construction would go up or something, he would go in and interview the project manager. And all the project manager was doing was telling him about what was the construction and
mm,
all that stuff. Like, what bank funded this? And then he would go and talk to the bank branch manager or whatever it is, and get info. And he literally was not part of any of those deals. And he got some great visibility doing it. He would take drone shots, really professional production.
mm.
And so it lent a lot of credibility to what he was doing. So we can do the same stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I may not have, 20 or 200 assisted living facilities under my belt, but I'm in the space and I can go talk to people who have those kinds of deals and uh, post about it, right? Hey, I'm talking about business acquisitions with, the corporate regional director of Brookdale or whatever
Mm.
some of the big players are, right? It only helps. It only helps.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you know, I'm kind of like I'm thinking through this because I'm kind of doing some of that already, on a very small scale. So like, I just realized that, like recently, I've been setting up my own processes for my business, and one of those things that I did as a part of my processes is I put together like a form on my webpage that essentially lets you go and request the most like recent rates and costs that I've seen, and it wasn't like incredibly complex, but it provides a lot of value to people who don't know that kind of thing. And I did that because I was constantly seeing people in the community who are investors who need funding. They're like, I need funding, but I have no idea like what are rates like? Like that
Hmm.
seems like such a simple thing for somebody who is exposed to it, but folks who aren't exposed to it regularly, they just don't know. And so, I went ahead and put just a very simple like Google form on the web page, and then added it's like a little plugin you can add to your Google Forms that essentially kicks off an email. Um, and I just put in the email all the breakdown of all the different rates and costs that I've generally seen. It's not like a guaranteed promise, but it's at least to give folks somewhat of an idea of what to expect. And then I can just go in whenever I see things change in the market and just update that little spot, and then when somebody requests a new set of rate and cost, then they get it in their email. So like that's
That's
just
great.
one little example, but it all is getting back to this idea of like visibility and value and making connections. Like it all kind of interplays with each other, and that's one of the big things that I've learned since joining the sub 2 community and the gator community is you really do need a network of people. You need to build relationships with people. Um, because that's how you do business. Like I wouldn't have seen all this stuff. I wouldn't have known all this stuff if I hadn't been connecting with people along the way.
Totally. Absolutely. That's good. Some good insight there. Yeah.
So, Rob, I don't want to just take from you the entire time. I also want to give you some value if there's any kind of value that maybe I can give as somebody who has a background in, I guess, what you would consider like an integrator. Um, what are maybe some of the things that right now you're working on or challenges that you're trying to overcome on the process side? I know you've got your new integrator, and I apologize, I've already forgotten her name.
Lynn. Her name is Lynn.
Lynn. So obviously she's helping you with that stuff, but what are some of the things that you're running into that you need to overcome in terms of your business?
Yeah. So we're adding more TCs to the
Mhm.
team in order to handle, the deals. We're we're needing I'm looking. I've already interviewed one person. I have another one lined up, and we're looking for someone who can help us underwrite deals. And primarily we're talking about deals that need to be funded, right? So as that the I do the same thing. There's a web form people fill out if they need funding for deals, and that kicks it into the CRM. But the problem is, I got stacks of deals in there that need to be underwritten, and because of all of this other stuff, right? There's so many things that you need, so many components in a business that you need in order to make all of this happen. There's so much stuff that I can't get to the underwriting as quickly as I'd like, and so I need to fill that. That's like pressing for my organization.
Mm,
Um, and then I'm hoping once I get those two kind of areas filled and adequately the right people in the right place, I can divert my attention to even more outreach, like nurturing relationships, growing more capital, being able to raise capital through our fund, which is going to be a game changer for us. Our goal is to eventually get into a fund where we can, um, you know, I get bigger deals sent to us, a $5 million deal, an $8 million deal, $800,000 deal. Hey, can you guys double close this? Can you guys provide 3 months of financing and as a gap loan until those are big numbers that are sometimes difficult to hit if you're trying to raise it within a, you know, 4 or 5 day period from a whole bunch of different people,
right.
right? It's really hard to do. And so, wouldn't it be nice if we can put together like a crowd fund,
Mm,
totally above board, complying with all SEC regulations, where we can have people put in whether it's 5,000 or 500,000. Um, but there's issues there, like all the deals need to be vetted properly. There needs to be, OMs and PPMs and all sorts of things that need to happen in order to uh, properly comply with SEC regulations. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to just be like, hey, this is the Gator Fund, and
mm,
deal as the bigger deals come up, we have the capital ready to go. $5 million double close, that's not a big deal. Let's just fund it and we'll be done. Right. So those are the kinds of things we're thinking about. Of course, increasing lead flow is always important, right?
right.
Leads are the lifeblood of the business. How do we get more leads? And so we really need to be putting out Facebook ads, and we really need to be making these little, content promo videos and all these little things in order to be visible constantly and get more leads sent to us, right?
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
so those are the things like that are at the forefront of what we're working on.
Okay.
That I need that we're working to improve and get better on.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So for anybody listening, if you are an underwriter, and especially maybe a top tier underwriter,
Yeah,
reach out to Rob because he needs some folks on his team.
absolutely. Yeah, I would love to have some conversations around that. And yes, we are because we're sub two, we're hoping to stay within the sub two community and we are hoping to find someone who's been top tier underwriter certified.
Mm. That's awesome. I think you're gonna totally be able to find folks. I've been seeing people, like, post I guess it's a badge, whatever it is, when they complete the course, and it's like, "Oh, man, this is
Yeah, so
awesome."
that's I think that's top tier certified TCs, which
Thought
we
there was
are
also one
also.
for underwriters.
Could be. I'm not aware of there could be one. We are so Tusk TC is top tier certified transaction coordinators. Um, we're top tier TC community, we're Gator community, we're sub community, we're trying to be all things for all people as best as we can.
Yeah, gotcha. On the systems side, what systems do you guys already have set up to help you with some of this stuff? Like, are you pretty thin right now on the systems, or do you guys already? And obviously, you're going to be working on them, but like, where are things at in terms of that?
So our digital stack consists of Google Workspace. We
Okay.
use Google Workspace for everything. Um, It's been, we use it for Google Meet. We use obviously everything is run through Gmail
Mhm.
and Drive and all that stuff. For the Tusk funds side and for relationship outreach, marketing, all that stuff, we're using Unapologetic Results
Mhm.
CRM. On the Tusk TC side, for project management, we're using to run all our deals, we're using Trello.
Oh, okay.
Now, we don't use the so unapologetic results is great at what it's great at,
Mhm.
but in terms of project management, it's not that great at that. And so we have to supplement with Trello because the way we like Trello in that you can create a card for a, a property that we're TCing, and within the card you can have everything living within the card,
Right.
right? Checklists and links to Google Docs and all that stuff, all self-contained, which is just the way that we run our processes. So it's really great for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, Trello
And
is
that
really
pretty
nice.
much is it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much our whole tech stack. I mean, we run Zapier for certain things. We're using DocuSign on a day to day basis, but the heavy hitters are Google Workspace, Unapologetic Results, and Trello for project management.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with even trying to keep it as slim as possible. The truth is the thing that I've observed is the more tools you have, the more things you can do, but the more complex it is to manage everything. And then that becomes a whole problem. That's a whole nother problem. Like
Yeah,
when you've got an organization that's full of all these different tools that handle all these different problems, yeah, your problems are solved, but now you've got a new problem of, okay, I need to go use this one for this specific purpose and this one for this specific purpose. And then it's easy to lose track of all those things when you've got so much that you're trying to juggle at the same time. So,
right.
I mean, it sounds like you
Exactly.
guys are in a really good spot. Have you guys explored using like Chat GPT or anything like that to do like customer outreach?
We haven't really explored that. It is a feature that is that so Dustin from Unapologetic Results is very well versed in the whole AI chatbot and using AI and Chat GPT for outreach. He has an AI plugin that goes into it that I mean we don't do like seller outreach necessarily, so it
Hmm.
would have to be retailored for what we're doing, reconfigured. But I've played with his seller outreach AI chatbot interface, and it's fantastic. Like
Mm,
I went into Spanish and conversed with it in Spanish. It's via SMS, right? and I conversed with it in Spanish, and it kept up. Like it was amazing. It's really good.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, but it would have to kind of be messed around with because we're not really doing direct to seller stuff, trying to find off market properties. So, but I'm sure it could be done. Right, you just have to teach it what you want it to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's AI is kind of interesting. I've you know, I'm generally aware. I kind of keep myself up to date on the different technologies, so to speak, and um, there's just so much. Like you literally cannot manage. You literally can't manage all of it, um, unless you're just doing that day to day in and out. Um, but like if you've already got some of that built into some of your tools, man, that's going to make a world of difference. Especially like these new language models, like like you were saying, yours did you did like Spanish, like that's really
Yeah.
good. That is so good. Um,
I mean, there's a large Hispanic population in Texas where I'm at, and so that is almost a prerequisite. Like, if it
mm,
doesn't work in Spanish, it's almost not worth using.
mm, gotcha. So, man, maybe one more question I have for you is like, do you have any questions for me? Like, is there anything I mean, it sounds like you guys have got solid systems in place and your integrator's doing a great job helping you get stuff done. I don't know what her what their background is, if they are like a software engineer. If not, is there anything that you have questions about that maybe I can help with?
Oh, I'm sure I do. I would love to. Yeah, we'll definitely keep in contact, and I'd love to plug you in with Lynn and see if there's maybe a way we can, mutually help each other out. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good, man. We'll follow up and if you ever just want to shoot the breeze on tech stuff, I'll be happy to talk to you about whatever. If you start asking me about all these specific tools, it's a little hard because again, there's just so many of them. But if you have general questions about like principles or can this generally be done, like that kind of stuff, I can definitely help with and I can like help brainstorm solutions for things like that.
I like it. I like it. I like your hat. Act like men.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. That's actually from a church
First
that I've been a
Corinthians.
part of
Yeah.
for a long, long time. They have like an Act Like Men weekend, they call it,
Hmm.
where all the men come together. It's like an outdoor event. We eat meat. Um as many manly things as you could possibly think of. And there's like, sermons and stuff like that. So uh
Yeah,
I love
I'm
it.
familiar with men's ministry. I've been pastor for men's ministry, and I'm not pastor now, but I lead the men's ministry at our local church here.
Okay. Awesome, man.
So yeah, I'm all about putting together camp outs, and we got a men's retreat coming up in November, and we try to do like a quarterly men's breakfast at the church.
That's good.
And we just built a multi-purpose kind of Sunday school, but it's got a huge gym attached to it. And so here in Texas, we can't do a lot of stuff outside during the summer. And so now that the building is done, we're hoping to do pickleball and basketball and
There
all
you
sorts of
go.
stuff, like, at least once a month or something like that. So yeah, look, that's pretty cool stuff. I've always liked men's ministry stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those things I think it's easily overlooked. Like, a lot of guys kind of want to be not everybody, but a lot of folks want to be like lone wolves, like, oh, I can do this all by myself.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
the truth is we need each other. Like you need men to come alongside you and encourage you. You need to be there to encourage other men. Young men need older men to look up to and learn from.
Yes.
So we all need each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm 100% guilty of playing the lone wolf, and it's not healthy.
Yeah,
It's
me too.
important, and we have to remember, like, it's not always easy, right? There's a reason why scripture says it's iron sharpening iron.
Yep.
That's not a soft process, right? There's sparks, and there's a lot of friction and heat, and
Yep.
um it's not always comfortable, but it's so needed, right? If you're going to be sharp, you gotta get sharpened.
That's
You know?
right. I
Yeah.
love it. It's simple, but it's good, like, if you wanna I'm gonna remember that one. If you wanna get sharp, you gotta get sharpened. That's good.
Yeah. 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 Good, man. It was great connecting with you. Again, if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Um, everywhere that I exist, my social handle is the same. I would recommend you do that too. It's at the Rob Sema everywhere. So YouTube,
Alright.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. If I might not be active on there, but I reserve those social handles in case I ever decide to be active on there. And so I have uniformity across all of them.
Awesome. So what are the social for folks who are watching this, I'm gonna add your details down in the description below. Um, what are the socials that you're most active on?
I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram, and also on YouTube.
Okay, awesome. And I'm the same. So you'll find me at at Kyle Kurzhal. Um, my name's hard to spell, so I'll just have to give you that information. You can put it wherever you want. So
Sure.
Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, man. It was really a pleasure to get to know you a little bit, and I'm hoping that we can do some business together going forward.
Oh man, great connecting with you. Looking forward to talking some more. And hey, if there's opportunities that pop up in the future, I'd be happy to work together.
Awesome. All right. Well, have a good one, man.
All right, Kyle. Thanks, man. Have a good one.